Welcome to episode 2 of the Seattle Metropolitan Hockey Report. I'm Mark Miller, along with my partner, Todd Smith.
Hi there, folks.
Today, we're going to be discussing Mr. Kevin Johnson and what's going on in Sacktown as we speak with the, what was it, I believe, be classy and leave...
Back off.
Period. Yes, back off.
Back off.
Back off. Wonder if you ever heard that from a teenage girl anywhere. KJ, we love you, man.
Speak for yourself.
We don't, actually, not at all. So, what do you think about the whole, what's going on with Mr. Johnson and his back off moment?
His whale pod.
All 50 of them.
Yeah. I think the last I heard they were getting ready to have a garage sale, and
I heard it was a lemonade stand.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That went along with the bake sale and the car wash that they had last weekend. I don't know what else to say. They're short by $16 million. They don't have the same amount of money pledged. They don't have the same amount of money in escrow. They have a house of cards when it comes to a stadium.
Exactly. It's all smoke and mirrors.
It is. If I was Chris Hansen, Steve Ballmer, and the Nordstroms, I would go full court. This is dump and chase right now at this point. You dump that puck in as hard as you can, and you chase after and go get it.
Exactly.
It's their team. Go get it.
It's ridiculous the way the NBA is playing patty cake with these guys down there. You don't have the money, first of all. You don't have all the land to build said arena on. You don't know if you're going to collect that much parking revenue. Are they going to pay for this building in quarters, literally? Are they going to come up with a truck full of quarters and say, here's
well, haven't you seen the latest on Facebook? They're installing parking meters in everybody's driveways.
Oh, they're solar powered too.
Yes,
environmentally friendly.
So when you pull up to your house at home, every night you can feed the meter, and you too, Sacramento, can have a basketball team.
Oh, Sacramento! We were talking about this yesterday, one of my friends and I, and it was, where does Kevin Johnson get his fiscal knowledge from? And I thought it was playing Monopoly myself. No free parking. Is he going to have 4 houses and build a hotel and call it lease for the arena?
He was a part of the NBA, so therefore he subscribes to NBA economics.
Oh yeah, NBA economics, which is pretty much spend to the cap limit or don't spend at all, like the Sterlings did in Los Angeles with
it's called fuzzy math.
And then collect a bunch of revenue, from the economic. What is it? I like to call it corporate welfare. Truthfully, what is it? The revenue sharing.
Yes. The revenue sharing. You can have in this hand, Seattle, taking a loan,
which will not be collecting on the revenue sharing.
No.
They will be putting into.
We will be a contributor to the revenue sharing pie. Mm-hmm. We have a loan against the arena.
Yes.
Or you can have a drain down in Sacramento.
Oh, but they're going to stop revenue sharing for what they weren't going to collect for until their new. I love how everybody's glossing over until their new arena is built. Nobody's looking
12 years down the road.
Nobody's looking though after the new arena is built, so they will be collecting revenue sharing. Everybody just glosses over that line. They will collect and they will be taking money in that department for I don't know, ever, as long as that franchise is in that city.
You can't not. You don't have a large enough population base. Mm-mm. You don't have a large enough tax base. Mm-mm. Your corporate sponsorships are what they are.
Yeah.
You have a new name on that arena every other day. So
exactly.
It's the Arco, Sleep Train, rolling through, hopscotch, lemonade stand,
exactly.
Whatever arena of the day.
Exactly. It's comical. If it wasn't happening to us and say if this was Charlotte and I don't know, Louisville was going for their team, I would just find this whole thing funny. But it's as a Seattleite, it's saddening actually.
Well, it's nice to know that with Stockton now going into bankruptcy, they have a thriving unemployment rate of about 15%.
That's part of their market too.
Hey.
What a great market that is. You know, that's the thing. That's the thing that Seattle can draw from a region. And Sacramento's handcuffed. I mean, to the west you got the Warriors. To the south, I mean, that's Laker country. Fresno southward. You know, so basically your market is that little part of Northern California that's not Warrior country, and right before the border where it's Blazer country. I mean, they are so hamstrung in just this little area that they don't have a I mean, what's their market? Reno? I mean, literally, what is the market in Sacramento outside of that little area? Redding? Literally, there's nothing there. There's not a population base to support it. And that's the problem that they've had since they've moved there, you know?
Yeah. And I guess what really frustrates me is that they ultimately hold the keys to our hockey future.
Yeah, exactly.
KJ is messing with my hockey right now.
And folks, we are not a basketball show. We had to start out because that's how, I mean, pretty much until this is all done, that's where we're starting our shows out with KJ Sacramento Sonics. They affect our future, literally, like you just said. They affect everything.
He is holding my puck at center ice and refuses to drop it. Back off, KJ. Drop the puck.
And the teenage girls. So, as you can see, flag of distress, upside down. I believe everything's upside down right now.
Speaking of whales that are in disarray.
So I said, Vancouver in 5 or Vancouver? I think it was Vancouver in 5, I believe I said. Yeah.
We almost got to 5 games.
Don't have a playoff beard. Had a nice lunch of crow today. It was awesome. Lemon over the top. Beautiful. Bon appetit. Fire Vigneault, that's all I can say. That unbelievable. That was one of the worst performances by a Vancouver Canuck team in the playoffs I've ever seen, and sadly there are a lot of those to go with, you know. So
I don't know. I've got a different take. AV, I'm not sure what to make of him. I can't tell if he lost the locker room and they laid down to get him out of town, or if he just didn't have the wherewithal to inspire his team to play playoff hockey.
I think it was a little of both. They said before in the Vancouver Sun that he kind of lost the locker room when Matt Sundin actually played there a few years ago. They said something to the equivalent that Matt Sundin wouldn't buy into his program and didn't like him, period. And a lot of those guys were youngsters when he was on that team, and they remember that, so they've never really had a chance to respect Vigneault. It's a little of everything, but I think that plays a big part into it. And I think the other part into it is he wasn't flexible with that team. I mean, this team was built for offense and scoring goals, but he was trying to force them to be a defensive team. They were not made. I mean, ever since that Boston series, I mean, they basically that San Jose series when they went to the finals, the Western Conference Finals, it was. Mm-hmm. They were everywhere. They were playing Canucks hockey back in that era, like, 5-goal-a-game kind of nights every night. Just you expect them to score. Seemed like in that Bruins game, he basically reined him in and made him play defense. And what happened? Ever since then, he's been like that. And
it's a mismatch his style and the way the team is built. This team is built like a thoroughbred.
Yeah, it's built finesse. It's not built to play defense and scrap it out for 60 minutes. No. In a 2-1 game, not like that.
They need some bad boys. They really do.
Oh, yeah.
They need some bad boys to come in. If they're going to play that style of hockey, and,
Amen.
The Western Conference is, in my opinion at least, it's
the superior conference in the NHL.
It's up and down. It's a faster game. Yeah. It's spread it from side to side, coast to coast, and get up and down the ice. And me personally, I like my hockey a little more black and blue. I want to see guys get dirty. I want to see them get bloody.
Exactly.
I want to see penalty minutes racked up. I want to see you afraid to come down and shower my goalie. I want you to think twice about getting within about 6 feet of the crease. because
in the East that works, but out West it's been more, like you said, it's more finesse. And Vancouver's trying to play like an Eastern team, and that's what's killed them in my mind. I mean, they're stupid mistakes like Gillis getting rid of Cody Hodgson for Mr. Zach Cassian, he's done nothing. Yeah. That's one of those bangers that they thought they were going to get. One of those guys who was going to be in front of the net, knocking people over, chasing after the puck and getting, scoring goals. Didn't happen. I mean, all these moves, it's basically all come to a head this year. And in a way, I'm glad they got swept. I mean, I hate to say that. I never thought I would say that, but if they went 7, there was still a possibility they were going to keep Vigneault, and I just did not want to see that guy back. I don't want to see him back this year. I don't want to see Luongo, Schneider too. There's no way they can.
They can't coexist.
They can't coexist.
You have to make your choice one way or the other. They went with Schneider, sort of. They didn't ever really commit, in my mind.
No, to either one of them. And
you can't play like that.
No, it's the smugness of AV was what cost this team this year. Should have stuck with Luongo. I mean, it should have never got to this. The reason Luongo is untradeable is his contract. Yeah. I mean, you're still going to have to either pay a team to take, basically pay some of his contract to go somewhere else, or you're going to have to trade Schneider. Personally, I would trade Schneider just for the reason you're going to get more from him because his contract's less. You're handcuffed with Luongo, literally.
Why in the world they ever made that?
No, unbelievable.
Or put that contract out there was just insane. I mean, at that rate,
you don't sign a guy to basically a 12-year deal with incentives, and I mean his contract is still going to be around till 2022. Literally, that's still
he's going to be out in the crease with a walker.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. It's embarrassing, and that's all we have to say about the Canucks. I don't want to talk about them in this offseason again unless they're picking up some good players. Boston won tonight over Toronto in overtime. The Leafs. We knew they'd get beat, but it's.
Well, you know why
they've actually showed up a little bit.
You know why the Cup's in the Hall of Fame is up there in Toronto, right?
It's the only time it'll ever be in Toronto.
Exactly.
That's why.
Exactly.
We'll just leave them and go to there's nothing more to say. We know the Bruins are going to win this series. I don't really want to talk about the Bruins. Any Boston fans out there, sorry, but I don't feel like I'm still hungover from last night in the desperation of watching my team lose, so I don't feel like talking about them. Let's go with the Ottawa-Montreal series. Have you seen any of that?
I've caught just bits and pieces of it, but
so good.
I was lucky enough to catch it on Slapshot night with the melee at center ice.
Yeah.
That. I wasn't sure whether or not I was watching a scene on a Slapshot.
If
they had choreographed
it
that,
looked like it.
It was everybody dropped, and the gloves go down, and the fists come up, and it was awesome, absolutely awesome.
They called out the coach, so that's that starts it. I mean, a couple good hits, call out a coach. The next night, you're going to be in a big battle royale. I'm enjoying that series. It's kind of sad that it's pretty much Ottawa's going to. I would love Montreal to come back at least to force a Game 7 just because it'd be a war. That's just.
I'd love to see a Game 7.
It would be a nice little
double
Game 7.
Overtime. The chippiness that would be going on in that game.
Oh yeah,
they might finish it 3-on-3 at that point.
Exactly, you might have it that way. Rangers. Yep, Lundqvist. Somebody called me out on that, by the way. Lundqvist about giving up his goals average jumps 0.3 points, I believe it was. In the playoffs, because I called him a choker. Did you see that comment?
Yeah, I saw it.
Hey. Numbers might lie in certain cases. Soft goals. When I say choker, I don't mean numbers. I'm talking about Roberto Luongo. Kind of Roberto Luongo's playoff numbers don't look too bad either. But yeah,
it's to me, it's when they give them up.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily numbers, but. If you're in a tight game, and especially when it comes into playoff time,
exactly,
you cannot give up those soft goals because lack of attention, lack of focus, call it whatever you will, keep your head in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got such a short window in which to make it to the cup.
Oh, yeah.
That when you decide to take a night off, maybe you took 2 plays off,
Yep.
or 2 minutes off, or 2 periods off, whatever.
It's enough to lose you a game.
Exactly.
You know, that's the thing. The defense is there. I mean, certain defenses look ugly in this postseason. I'm seeing some guys getting wide open shots that, I mean, goalies should make the stops on, but there's also there's been a lot of iffy goals allowed in this postseason so far. And it's like, I'm wondering if the defense is just quitting or if the goalies just are not making the saves. Because, I mean, Luongo's problem kind of went back to the fact that how many shots were given up that were close range or that were, you know, he made stops on that Schneider didn't, and you're starting to wonder how bad would how good would they have looked or how bad would they have looked, you know, if you flip the script. Like the night Schneider gave up 5 goals, you know, Luongo looked beautiful in relief, you know. It's is the defense giving up or is the goalie giving them up? And that's why I can never say I want to see Schneider or I want to see Luongo stay in Vancouver.
You know, personally, if it was me, I'd trade them both.
You know what? And the sisters, too. Trade the sisters.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. You know, these playoffs have been great. It's been a while since we've had, I think, this much, I would say, quality action.
Yeah, every series has been close. Even the sweep was 2 overtime games. You know, they've all been pretty good. I mean, there've been a couple blowouts along the way, but pretty much every game has looked, well, they've been exciting. You know, that's what we asked for.
For the most part, you haven't seen guys just not show up. You know, especially with some of these younger teams, you kind of question, are they ready to take that step? Does the youth and the inexperience cause them to, you know, kind of freeze in the moment? But from what I've seen, you know, with the Islanders, the Oilers, some of these guys, it's just boom. You know, the youth coming up in the, you know, some of these teams,
some good teams,
and you know, even like Columbus, who didn't make it, we're seeing that youth movement.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of young teams that are going to be good in the next few years. Columbus next year. I mean, Columbus is going to win the Central. I mean, what is it going to be next year? What are they going to even call these conferences? I don't understand this.
The Northeast.
Call it the Norris Part 2 or something.
Something like that.
You know, Columbus will be a competitor for that division. Edmonton might challenge for the whatever they call it, the Pacific or Smythe or whatever you want to call it now division. I mean, Edmonton's going to be there's a lot of good teams. They're young.
Yeah.
And we will be back. We are going to take our first break, and we are going to have the guy from NHL 2 Seattle. His name is John Barr. He'll be with us when we return.
Still loose. 11 seconds. You've got 10 seconds. The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Okay, and we're back. Wanted to introduce our next guest here is John Barr. John runs a Facebook page called NHL 2 Seattle. He and his followers are also very devoted NHL fans, trying to get our beloved NHL to come here to Seattle. Want to welcome you in, John, tonight. I'd like to get your take on what's going on down in the desert. What's happening down in Phoenix? I know you've been following that story real closely. Give us your feelings, your thoughts. Let us know, kind of your take on the whole process.
Thanks for having me, first of all.
Thanks for coming on, John.
Thank you. As you probably know, Phoenix ownership has been a little bit of a soap opera the last 3 or 4 years. The NHL has owned the team for 3 or 4 years, and they've had potential buyers just about every other year, it seems like. And it seems like this is really going to be the final option of trying to keep the team in the desert. Meaning it's either going to they're either going to sell it this summer or they're going to probably move the team.
Now,
Right now, it looks like. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, John. I was going to ask you. Do you see this actually coming to fruition where they sell this and honestly give it a shot in the desert, or do you think they pull the plug and move them prior to a sale, or do you see them waiting till a new ownership group takes over?
I think they're going to try to find it. If they don't find an owner in the next 2 or 3 weeks to keep it in the desert, they're going to move it. I do not see them holding on to it any more than maybe a month.
And you would say probably Quebec City would be their. You would probably say Quebec City would probably be the most likely landing spot right now, right?
Yes, I believe so. I mean, they have a potential owner, they have an arena that's planned to go up, and they have a temporary facility. And without an NBA team here, we know that Seattle's not really an option.
Yeah. So you think expansion probably, like us and Markham, or do you see something else coming along?
Well, right now I see three potential places that could support hockey, and you nailed it. It's really Quebec, Seattle, and Markham. Each of them has their own nuance, right? Markham really doesn't have an arena yet. They're investigating. It looks like they're going to do one, but really that's a few years out, similar to how we are.
Exactly.
Did you have a question?
Oh no, I was agreeing with you.
Okay. So if Phoenix moves to Quebec, then it looks like Markham and Seattle are the most likely. Now, we've also heard Kansas City mentioned, and you never know. In a couple of years, there could be some other kind of cities popping up as a potential location. This sounds like a stretch, but could be Cleveland, could be Houston. I mean, those are some.
Oklahoma City.
That's correct, although probably I would think that's a little less likely. Just because Ohio does have a hockey presence, so that's why I think Cleveland and Houston is just huge, right? So you can see another Dallas scenario. So those are very speculative in nature, but anything can change in the next 2 or 3 years, where those can all of a sudden be part of the conversation.
Now, John, if assuming that the Chris Hansen, Ballmer, and Nordstrom group is able to prevail with the Sacramento Kings purchase and relocation, what does it really look like with our chances here of bringing the Coyotes here as soon as next season, or even on a short term, keeping them in the desert and then move them 2 years, 3 years once our arena is completed and open? Is that feasible, or do we see that we are just so far behind the train here that we have to look at expansion or possibly another team moving down the road?
I think it's entirely possible. You've kind of nailed it. We don't necessarily have a facility for them to play in while the arena is being built. Now, Key Arena can work, and even Hansen has said it's probably best that a hockey team comes maybe a year or two after an NBA team. And the lease agreement that the Hansen group has with the city of Seattle has a hockey team called out as an additional $700,000 in rent if a hockey team were to play in Key Arena. And so I think, being that this is very late, and I know getting even Key Arena ready for hockey would be a stretch.
Yeah.
It could be 1 year in Phoenix if that scenario plays out where they want to move it to Seattle. Or it could be a couple of years. It doesn't seem likely that they could actually move a team up here next fall. But I'm sure the right motivation at the right cost, people could make it happen. And
stranger things have happened.
What's that?
Stranger things have happened, actually. That's
true. And if the ownership is motivated, populated, they can do it. And I wouldn't rule out the possibility of playing in ShoWare or up at Everett Event Center or Comcast Arena, I should say, because it's a great facility, very intimate. And if you can get 8,000 people in one of those, I mean that's Phoenix draw is better than that, but
Yeah.
their costs or their
Barely.
price points are very low.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Okay.
So it's possible. I'm not sure how the junior teams would be willing to kind of share the arena, but again, if there's some compensation for it, it could at least have a discussion about it.
Sure. Now with Key Arena, most of us remember the days of the Thunderbirds playing there, and what a just kind of awful setup it was for hockey. But I think most of us would be willing to, kind of temper that with the thought that we get pro hockey in the short run, even though they would have to close off the one end with the overhang. Do we have any sense as to how many people we could put in Key for a hockey game?
It's at least 10,000 unobstructed views, and that's with kind of the end closed off. And that's going to be more than Comcast and more than ShoWare.
Okay.
And there is a scenario where maybe Key Arena is the perfect way to intro hockey to the area. You start to get people familiar with hockey by putting them in Key Arena. The hardcore people go to the games. The other people follow it on TV.
Sure.
And then you essentially relaunch the team
When they get to the new
SoDo
building.
Arena.
Yep.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And I personally, I enjoyed going to the T-Bird games up there just from the fact that it was Key. Seats were awful.
It's cool being in downtown, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun to be downtown and around the Queen Anne. It was just such a great neighborhood. I enjoyed it. I know I was kind of in the minority as far as, and I understand why the T-Birds left, but if we're talking pro hockey here or not here, I'm going to take it every single day.
Exactly.
I think you're right. The hardcore fans, and there's plenty of us out here, right? With the GSHL, there's over 1,000 people playing, right? And we know all the fans don't necessarily play, but
right.
And all the professionals downtown catching a game after the day of work. It makes sense. It can work down there, and that's why it can work in SoDo as well.
On Phoenix, is there any ownership is there any change? Last time I saw it was like Reinsdorf was being asked back in, Ice Edge was being asked back in, what is it, Holsizer? It's
Pastor.
Like they keep it's like a revolving door basically. Is it changed at all? Same suspects?
It is. I think there's 4 different ownership groups, and they're relatively familiar names that we've heard over the last 3 years. The new guy is in the picture is George Gosby. He's from Calgary, and he's partnering with Anthony LeBlanc, which was the old IFED member of the old IFED Holdings.
Okay.
And so those two appear to have the inside track, and they were scheduled to meet at Bettman, and those two were scheduled to meet with the city of Glendale, and I assume that's the mayor and maybe a couple other, like the city manager.
Yeah.
We're supposed to meet with them yesterday. That apparently didn't happen, and they're looking to reschedule. So they appear to have the inside track, because first, in the Jameson scenario, what they did is they got a favorable lease agreement, and then they went to negotiate with the league and get the financing to kind of purchase the team.
Okay.
We all know how that didn't pan out.
Right.
And the league was probably a little gun shy about that. So first they're lining up the financing, which apparently Gosby and LeBlanc have. It was reported that they have over $70 million raised higher than the required funds to purchase the team.
Okay.
And so once they agree to terms with the league, then they'll negotiate with the city on a lease two in the saga. And so, even though the city of Glendale has budgeted $6 million for a management fee to pay whoever manages the arena, it's reported that the city would be willing to go up to $12 million a year to raise the money, or to if the Coyotes were to stay in the desert.
Is there any truth, John? Have you heard anything that the NHL had approached the city of Glendale about negotiating a short-term lease to possibly allow for them to leave, within a period of 5 to 7 years?
It's been reported that the lease that they're pursuing is 15 years, with a couple outs if certain thresholds aren't made. So that's where you have the short-term scenario where, and it could be, I believe I saw 5 years, like there's an out after 5 years, but at the same time, that none of that, it's been really hard to track what's truth and what's just rumor coming out of the desert. So, but I think that's in line with a potential short-term lease if thresholds aren't made.
So, final thought prediction.
It's good for the sport, to try to make it work.
Exactly.
I don't think the league can be faulted for trying to make it work down in Phoenix. I mean, they've obviously tried to put an ownership, and I believe in the sport a lot. And I would actually love to see it successful in Phoenix, because then I could see it being twice as successful here. So
that's a good attitude to have. Final thought is a prediction. Where do you think the Coyotes play next year? If I was betting my own money, I'd have to say Quebec. That's along the lines I'm thinking myself.
Yeah, I think it's about 2/3 of the chance playing in Quebec and 1/3 of the chance playing in
Phoenix.
Glendale. Now, if somehow things change course and how they're looking in Sacramento, I think it's possible Seattle's in there. I mean, it's still a long shot, even if we get the Kings, but at the same time, it's a shot.
Okay.
I've always said
without the Kings, we have nothing.
I've always said that Seattle has the best chance for the Coyotes, for the simple fact is you're going to make a lot more in expansion fees in Canadian dollars than you would, having Markham in Seattle or Quebec in Seattle eventually in the future. I mean, you basically keep those Canadian markets in reserve, and you're going to make a lot of cash.
I agree. And the other scenario is, and it's no disrespect to our Canadian brothers, but they will support an expansion team better than probably an American new market.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With the losing and kind of they'll just be ecstatic to have a team.
Like the Jets, like they are in Winnipeg.
Having a winning streak with Seattle in the first couple of years, getting a little playoff run will really captivate this city.
I agree.
That would be fun, wouldn't it, John?
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, we go to these games, we go to sports bars, and we see people rooting for hockey, but everyone's wearing a different jersey, right? I can't wait for the day everybody's
wearing the same.
Yep.
John Barr, thank you very much.
John, again, I appreciate you taking time to meet with us tonight. Hope to have you on as a regular contributor, and would love to keep you on board with us here.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, and we're all after the same goal here, and I'm willing to help any way I can. So let's keep it going and get a team here.
Sounds good.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, you guys. Take care.
You too. And we will be right back.
Still loose. 11 seconds. You've got 10 seconds. The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
And we are back. So we've gotten some questions on our page that we've asked for tonight. And the first one was Devin Wald. He wrote, each of your backgrounds... I don't know the sentence. I think believe he means give us each of your backgrounds. so that it can give us all an idea of the level of credibility coming from this page. Well, Devin, we're both in sports management. We love it. We've done it forever. Yep, ham and eggers, man, just like yourself.
Me personally, sales and marketing. I think I told everybody in the first episode. Unfortunately, I was not gifted at the genetic lottery. Didn't have a whole lot of need for a 5'6", short, bald defenseman who can't skate worth a damn. So
You're not in sports management?
I don't manage myself, let alone other people. I just sell. I'm a selling.
Well, maybe you work in
I'm a sports whore. Damn it.
Maybe if you coach in Little League, right?
I coach Little League.
You can call yourself a sports manager.
There we go.
There you go. You're a sport. He's in sports management. Folks.
I am the manager of a AAA Little League team.
Exactly. So you and Wold can hang out together.
There we go.
You guys have things to talk about. So there's an answer to that question. Ryland Spencer, my boy. He asked, why do I have so much Canuck stuff in here? It's upside down, so you'll enjoy that tonight.
Well, Ryland, as you'll notice, I decided to bring a little bit of sanity to this program here, just a little bit. Minnesota Wild. Got to keep true to my Minnesota roots.
And see, he's got a North Stars hat. He's repping that.
Minnesota Wild. I'm bringing the Minnesota love here.
Great White North. You know, you got it.
So, I talked with my dad the other day, and he's like...
From Fargo?
No, he wasn't up in Fargo. He was up in the Arrowhead, and he says, hey, guess what I was doing today, son? What were you doing, Dad? He says, I was ice fishing. We still got 2 feet of ice up here on the lake. So, Dad, if you're watching, don't fall through.
Our weather rules, by the way. It's gorgeous out. Eric Housen, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Is Key Arena able to support NHL games? Kind of went over that with our guest. I think it is. I mean,
Yeah, I think John kind of chronicled some of the opportunities to place a team right now, whether it be in Kent at Showware, in Everett at Comcast, or at Key in Seattle, and I think Chris Hansen's group obviously thinks that it's a viable option in the short run, seeing as how his group negotiated additional rent payments to the city when and if an NHL team plays there. So he's definitely got the thought in mind that if they come, he's looking for an NHL partner to put there. So it's going to be a small, quaint venue.
Yep.
But it's still
it'll be
worse.
Intimate and it'll be nice.
It'll
be. You'll be up close. You'll be closer than you will most arenas. I mean, the sight lines suck, but you'll be closer.
There's definitely seats that are going to suck, and the one end of the arena is unusable, but you are going to get up close to the action. You're going to have a good time there. You're going to have a good time.
You know what? I think the best seats are going to be in that building if they did have NHL hockey, and Key Arena would be, the 300 level would be behind the basket. Well, it's behind a goal in this place. I mean, because you're not on the end of the horseshoe where you're not seeing anything. I mean, you're getting the whole ice view. I mean, the sightlines there are great, actually. I've sat up there for many a Thunderbird game, and, I mean, it's a great venue, great view up in that place. It's actually better than down, ice level, which is the main reason about that. Yeah.
But, I enjoyed going to games there. It, is
Dick's Deluxe after the game right there on Lower Queen Inn. Ooh,
I was a Buca de Beppo, man.
Oh, you were a Buca de Beppo, man.
Yeah. I had to get my, because I'm very fit and trim, as you can tell. I had a little bit of pasta going there, but I enjoyed the games there. I think it would be fun in the short term, and honestly, could you really say it's going to be any worse than the Cow Palace or some of these other temporary venues that they've had over the years?
No, I mean Florida played in not Florida, Tampa Bay. It was called Expo Hall. It was basically a big cow,
And what about down down in Phoenix when they were down there.
It would. That's one of the things I thought about Key Arena when I saw the idea that if they did want to have more seats, they could actually put people up on the 300 level when they had that goal that they can't see. But the first thing that came to my mind was Phoenix. It was like you're paying to watch 2/3 of a hockey game. You can't even see both goals. If they lower them to $5 or $6 a ticket, sure,
you'll still get standing room. You'll get people that'll
exactly.
That's and for school groups, things like that, it's a great way to expose people to the game.
Oh, yeah.
For low cost and get people excited about coming.
Exactly. You're lowering the price and you're making it more accessible. Why not? Jacob Solomon Hannon. Which teams have the best chance of moving to Seattle? Obviously, Phoenix is one.
Yep.
About a year ago, I would have said Columbus, but that crowd really, that city, the crowds were getting bigger every night toward the end of the season. They were actually, I don't think they're in trouble anymore. Florida might be one to watch. If you want to know, the Panthers are in probably the worst sports market in America, by the way. I would always put a Miami team in.
When you cannot keep ice even frozen because of the temperature outside,
humidity,
to me, that is not a hockey market. I would love to see Florida pick up and move to a cold weather climate.
It's the whole Miami thing. The Marlins today just roped off. They roped off the whole upper deck for home series, and their ballpark is in this is now the year and probably a quarter it's been open now. Yeah. They're closing sections of their ballpark because nobody's going to go there. The Dolphins cannot find funding. They might, ironically, that would be the greatest thing ever, actually. To see those little old jerks from 1972 with their walkers and their canes popping champagne. You're going to be popping champagne for a franchise that doesn't even exist in the city you represented. You're going to go to L.A., guys? All the old people like to go to L.A.
There you go.
Florida or L.A., they should just pack your walkers up, move to Los Angeles.
They all think
pop your
Hollywood
champagne
anyways.
Pop your champagne, Mercury Morris. Bob Greasy. Good. Horrible market.
Just me being completely selfish, and I was really disappointed when Todd Leiweke left the Hawks and went down to be a part of the Tampa franchise. I love everything about the Lightning. Their logo, their unis.
They run well. The fans are, they come. They show up.
I would love to see them come back. Bring Todd Leiweke back to the Pacific Northwest. Yzerman.
The Lightning, a couple of years ago, I actually had written an article about the Lightning possibly moving to Seattle, and that turned out great.
Yeah.
Well, in that stretch, there was a lockout, and then, before that, the Lightning went to the Eastern Conference Finals and almost got to.
I know.
That
$1 billion
franchise,
to one. They're not going anywhere because of their whole.
They've actually got good support in that market.
Well, they do.
Better than the Rays, which is funny to me.
And they've really turned that franchise around.
Yeah.
Todd Leiweke does a great job at fan support and building a fan experience. We saw it with what he did with the Wild. We saw what he did with
Sounders.
Exactly.
Yeah, all of it.
He knows how to put together an event. And as much as I would love to see them here, they're not coming, but a boy can dream.
So we are pretty much settled on the only teams that are in jeopardy right now are like the Florida Panthers and the Coyotes at the moment.
Correct.
I wouldn't say Carolina, but cross your fingers. I want hockey out of all the Sunbelt cities. I don't like it down there. California, that's fine. You got your Canadian transplants down there. Any other state, no. Any state south of Mason-Dixon, no, thank you. They don't draw well. They don't have
the theory was always the snowbirds going down there, and I get why they thought that.
Mm-hmm.
People from the north going down there and spending time in the winter, but it just hasn't translated to ticket sales, to support.
It's because they're not getting. It's because
It's not their team.
Yeah, they're going basically to see the Red Wings or the Canadiens or the Maple Leafs. They're going to see their hometown team. There's no local like fan base like glomming on to like the Florida Panthers.
Right.
Like, we love the Panthers here in Hialeah. No, nobody in Hialeah knows they have a franchise. Michael Metros.
No, go ahead. What's Michael have to
What
say?
will come first? The Chicago Cubs winning a World Series or the Stanley Cup returning to Seattle?
Stanley Cup.
Stanley Cup. Don't need to go any farther down on that one. And Kenny Joe, our last Mr. Facebook poster, said, bring Kessler down for an interview. How about we try to get two sisters? And Luongo. We'll go for all of them. we could ask Kessler.
Kenny, we'll see what we can do.
We'll try. You know what? We're actually trying to get the Greenmen, so maybe you can actually hear their voices for the first time. I don't think Ryan Kessler is going to talk to us at the moment. I think they're all pretty much under gag order at the moment.
They're getting ready to go play golf.
Yep.
They're trying to clean out AV's locker for him. They are. I'm sorry.
Gillis is gone.
They're
all gone. It's going to be they're going to gut that franchise. It's going to be pathetic to watch. Hopefully they gut it. They at least get rid of the Sedins, but we'll see. We don't think they will. They'll probably be here till they're 50. Yeah.
Well, that's all we've got for questions for right now. I hope all of you feel free to give us your questions, good, bad, or otherwise.
Comments, anything. Give us a shout out. We'll gladly put. We
may not take it well.
We might not take it. We might not put you on, but we'll try. If you're really nice and you say "pretty please" with sugar on top, we might just do it. Closing thoughts, Todd.
I want to. From the bottom of my heart, I guess, as little as it may be, I want to thank everybody for supporting us. I wasn't sure we'd get more than 2 views on our first episode.
And that's counting both of us.
Exactly.
We're not even counting our producer because he wouldn't want to watch it.
Yeah, he had to watch it in the first place.
Exactly.
But we really appreciate you taking time to watch that first episode, to support us with the great comments. It's a lot of fun getting to do this, and we really do want to have a good time with our fans. We want to embrace you all while we work to bring in. We want the NHL here. I don't care where it comes from.
Exactly.
I don't care what team we get. Move a franchise, expansion.
That's what
franchise.
we just want a team.
I
That's all
want
we
the NHL here, and I personally have been challenged by Chris Hansen to legitimize what I do with Facebook. He said to me, how do you move beyond a Facebook page? This is what we're doing.
That's
to move
what we're working
beyond.
on.
And so
Grassroots, folks. That's where we're going to start.
We want to build that community, whatever form it takes. We want to build the hockey community, keep our youth programs vibrant, keep the WHL teams strong and relevant, while we prepare for a NHL franchise to debut.
Get people talking about it. That's the biggest thing, Without you guys, there won't be a franchise.
No.
I mean, you guys have to jump on board too. So, with that said, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to episode Dose.
That's 2.
That's 2 for non-Dora Explorer the watchers. We will see you on episode Trace, which is 3, next week. Thank you for tuning in, Todd.
Mark, thank you again for coming and being a part of this. We're having fun. At least I hope you're having fun.
I'm having a blast.
Are you having fun?
It is good.
Good.
It's very good.
Last little plug I'll give is come check us out on Facebook. I have NHL Seattle. We're setting up a new Facebook page for the Metropolitan Hockey Report. You can also check us out on Twitter at Metropolitan Hockey Report. Sorry, at Metropolitan Hockey Report on Twitter. And look forward to some good things coming here. We look forward to your suggestions. Mark, your blog again.
Northwest Coast Bias. Also, maybe if you guys want to, hit us up on Facebook. Maybe we'll come out, have a beer with you, and watch a playoff game with the Angry Beaver or somewhere around here that has hockey on the tube. Get out, watch a game, have some fun, folks. That said, thank you very much. You guys have a great week, and we'll catch you mañana or next week or whenever you want to call it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Still loose. 11 seconds. You've got 10 seconds. The countdown going